The era of AI profit harvesting, when speed becomes humiliation and silence hunts the workforce. The AI era of 2026 is no longer a time for people to simply be excited by technology or marvel at chatbots that mimic human conversation. It is the moment the world begins to ask a question that pierces the heart of every worker. Ultimately, does the company still need you? Just a few years ago, we were mesmerized by futuristic novelties that felt distant. Today, the economic lens has shifted sharply toward actual productivity gains. The market has stopped valuing companies that merely ride the hype, looking instead at profits born from human marginalization. Imagine an ordinary Monday morning in an office in Sathorn or Sukhumvit. There is no announcement of an economic crisis, no warning sirens. There is only a manager sending a link to a new AI tool in the company line group with a brief message. Use this from now on, it'll make things faster. 3 months later, there are no lightning-fast layoff notices, no somber farewell ceremonies. Instead, a heavy silence blankets the office. The company simply stops hiring. It declines to renew certain contracts. In meetings, leadership briefly mentions, "We need to stay lean this year." But those sitting in the office know better. This isn't a normal economic lean down. It is the moment humans become redundant. You still have a job. You still receive your salary. But deep down, you begin to realize the work no longer requires you. The sting lies in the fact that no one tells you that you're doing a bad job. They simply say in meetings, "Let AI handle that. It'll be done in a second." Then, you are slowly erased from the conversation, removed from key projects, and eventually, you fade out of the company's ecosystem so quietly that no one even notices. The painful truth on today's desk is that technology didn't win because it is theoretically smarter than you. It won because it utterly destroyed the reason the company needs to pay to hire you. Soaring profits from human cost reduction. Capital markets are celebrating the surge in profits driven by the reduction of human costs. Various reports estimate that organizations successfully integrating AI could see an average increase in operating margin of 18%, compared to those still lost in the experimental phase. These glamorous profits largely stem from the fact that companies no longer need to hire you at the same scale. Consider the 38-year-old accountant, a parent of two, and once the pillar of the department, who now sits watching a system finalize a month's worth of financial statements in 5 minutes. Or the Thai fresh graduate who sends out 200 resumes only to receive 0 responses because companies prefer a single veteran equipped with AI over grooming new talent. Rising profits are paid for with the silent humiliation of those left behind. Where an 8-hour workday once signified dedication, in this era, lacking an AI assistant makes you an immediate burden and a drag on the team. In AI-intensive industries, surveys show employees can generate several times more output, sometimes up to 3.5x productivity per hour, causing the marginal cost of production to plummet towards 0. The problem: not everyone is on the growth side. The harsh reality is that this era is a game where the winner isn't necessarily the most talented, but the one who buys the tools first. This has created the AI capex divide, a winner-takes-all environment more ruthless than any in capitalist history. Achieving a competitive level requires massive investment in processing chips and data centers. 2026 estimates suggest that hyperscaler big tech firms and a mere 5% of the market elite command a staggering 70% of the world's AI infrastructure budget. For an SME owner in Thailand, this isn't a fair fight. It's a struggle for survival against erasure. You aren't losing because of poor skill. You're losing because you can't afford the stadium to play in. This gap forces smaller players without proprietary data to become mere tenants on someone else's land, leading to a 30% surge in M&A activity simply to avoid being crushed by giants with deeper pockets. This inequality is no longer confined to corporations. It is expanding into the great divergence of the global economy. For developing nations, the dream of using cheap labor to attract investment is over, as AI is faster and cheaper than human labor in every dimension. On the positive side, nations like India, Brazil, or the ASEAN bloc may have a leapfrogging opportunity to solve structural issues using AI. On the downside, countries relying on basic service exports face a severe crisis. Some regions, such as Africa, may require trillions of dollars in investment to bridge this technological chasm. Without access to infrastructure, these nations will fall from producers to mere consumers, paying technological tribute to superpowers forever. Meanwhile, routine workers face a defenseless crisis as massive numbers of traditional roles are replaced. This is a new world divided clearly between those who command AI, those measured by AI, and those who own AI. Shaken labor and market concentration. As labor destabilizes and markets concentrate to a frightening degree, governments worldwide have no choice but to step into the arena. If big tech is allowed to control everything, AI will become a global monopoly system. Following the 2026 turning point, law has become a real weapon. Specifically, the EU AI Act, set for full implementation in late 2026, imposes massive fines on companies violating transparency and high-risk AI assessment rules. Currently, over 72 countries have proposed regulatory frameworks, creating regulatory innovation offices to audit algorithms for bias. Furthermore, AI literacy requirements and platform labor protection laws are being enforced to ensure that productivity gains are shared fairly. The war between state power and big tech has become the battlefield where trust is the most expensive currency. Case studies of actual enforcement show that tech giants must pivot from speed to explainable and auditable AI. For instance, had to suspend certain features in Europe to align with biometric data and content labeling regulations, are accelerating the use of compliance automation. Statistics show these companies are increasing legal budgets significantly to hire ethics experts and external auditors. In the US, orders have been issued for companies to submit risk test reports to the state before release, a measure akin to a stress test in the banking system. Governments now require frontier model developers to disclose deep security data and red teaming results to find vulnerabilities that could lead to cyber threats or bioweapon risks. This intense control ends the era of releasing technology to experiment on the public without oversight. Companies that establish trust first will be the winners in the enterprise market. Behind the collapse, a new economy where humans become excess. Deep beneath the surface of progress, AI is redefining the definition of cost for the entire system. What is happening isn't just a wave of layoffs, but the reality that the marginal cost of cognition is approaching zero. Previously, a company had to pay every time it wanted more work. Today, a company pays for a system once and hits generate infinitely. This is a shift from an economy where labor is a variable cost to one where labor becomes a sunk cost. Humans are no longer just a cost to be reduced. They are a redundancy the system seeks to delete to achieve perfect profit. Furthermore, AI acts as a new wage suppression machine. Even as productivity skyrockets, bargaining power falls entirely to the employer. Even if you aren't replaced today, you are under a constant threat of replacement. Wages aren't stagnant because you aren't skilled. They are stagnant because the employer's options have expanded boundlessly, forcing labor to submit to a frozen wage environment under the shadow of the robot. This new economy isn't the productivity economy we once knew. It is becoming a rent economy. AI doesn't generate profit like an old-school factory focused on production. It generates profit like a digital landlord. The winners aren't those who work the hardest, but those who own the infrastructure, cloud, GPU, data model. Others in the market aren't competing. They are becoming tenants on the winner's platform. You aren't being hired to work. You are being charged rent as a component of the system. The most terrifying vision is the jobless transition. Jobs aren't vanishing in an economic explosion or a crisis that brings people to the streets in protest. They are vanishing through the absence of entry-level jobs for fresh graduates. Mid-tier careers are being squeezed. The younger generation finds no ladder to climb. This is an economy without a loud bang, but rather a slow suffocation of the global workforce. Algorithmic citizenship. Beyond this, AI is transforming labor into a credit score or algorithmic citizenship. The new world doesn't ask if you can do the job. It asks how well you can be measured and optimized. AI turns you into KPI data monitored in real time. This is a shift from a labor market to a social credit system where the machine is the judge of your value as a human being. In seeking an alternative economic solution, the world may need to move beyond universal basic income, UBI, toward a universal AI dividend. Since profits no longer derive from human labor but from automated capital, the critical question is, who actually owns the machines of wealth generation? If the answer is only a few corporations, the world we are entering won't just be a new era, it will be the most perfect digital feudalism ever conceived. To conclude for you, as you wake up for work tomorrow morning, 2026 isn't asking how smart AI is. It is the quietest judgment of all. You don't have to be fired today. You will simply wake up to find the company no longer needs you. Not because you aren't good, but because you are unnecessary. In a world where AI has become the electricity, who will own the plug? And where is your place in a system that has no room for the slow?